Genomics is very important, especially in cancer, but it is important for chronic diseases and for well-being of human. Genomics really dictate on our systems what to respond to various diseases, and cancer in particular is a genomic disease. So for good understanding of cancer, we must define the genomic abnormalities in that cancer. Genomic testing is no longer only for finding a biomarker for targeted therapy. Genomics today, the way we do it, which include DNA analysis and RNA analysis, is used for first determining the diagnosis. Confirming the diagnosis with genomic is very important because we all know approximately 10% of diagnosis based on old conventional pathology can be a mistake in appropriate diagnosis. Genomic will allow us to practically improve the diagnosis, avoid mistakes in making diagnosis. But in addition to that, genomics testing will help us to selecting the drugs for treatments, predicting the prognosis for the patients, and in monitoring patients after treatments as well. At the same time, it allows us to evaluate the immune systems and whether the patient will respond to immunotherapy or not, especially when genomics are done using DNA and RNA. So it is crucial, in my opinion. Every patient with cancer should have his cancer or her cancer evaluated by DNA and RNA for planning the therapeutic approach for that particular patient. NGS, especially if you do DNA and RNA, will allow you to look at the genetic abnormality for a large number of genes, so you don't have to do a single gene at a time. So that's going to really actually reduce the cost of testing, because if you do a single gene at one time, you might be adding cost, and versus if you use the whole panel with today's next-gen sequencing, where the cost of doing next-gen sequencing came down significantly. It is more cost-effective to do it. But if you are doing a complete genomic evaluations, you can really evaluate chromosomal abnormalities or cytogenetics, practically doing cytogenetics. And at the same time, you can really be doing FISH analysis, especially if you do the RNA. So you don't need to do FISH testing, and you get a complete profiles on potential translocations. At the same time, if you are doing RNA, you can really evaluate the expression of various genes. So practically, you can do a complete molecular immunophenotyping. As a matter of fact, you can also do immunohistochemistry. And because the expression levels of various proteins always correlated with the expression of the RNA, and you can use that for evaluating immunohistochemistry practically, or replacing the need for doing immunohistochemistry. At the same time, if you use AI and artificial intelligence with the expression profiling today, we use artificial intelligence to replace even the need for microscopic evaluation. Still, a microscopic evaluation is always needed, but the AI and expression profile help you in determining the diagnosis and determining even prognosis and so on. So with the current combinations of DNA, RNA, and AI, practically we are improving on our understanding of the patient, of the disease, as well as in making better decisions in how to treat these patients. Part of the challenges of the NGS is lack of understanding what the NGS can really do today. It's unfortunately, I think, many practicing physicians and pathologists, they have limited knowledge in next-gen sequencing because the field is advancing very rapidly. Keeping up with the technology and keeping up with the science behind this technology is not easy, especially for busy oncologists and hematologists and pathologists. So that's a major problem. The second major problem is that there's a concept out there that it is more expensive. And that concept is not really true, considering how much of value the next-gen sequencing will give you. For sure, you don't want to treat the patient with the wrong therapy because a patient will not respond. And that's going to be very costly, not only regarding suffering of the patient, but also regarding the cost of the drugs that you have to pay for, which will not help the patients. So these are two issues that practically need educations, and we need to educate the payers as well as educate the medical communities and to try to put the data of next-gen sequencing in simplified fashion, and so clinician can make a more intelligent decision based on this data. Next-gen sequencing came a long way in very short time. We started with the Sanger sequencing. And Sanger sequencing in the olden days was, if you do like 1,000 nucleotide, you are within a week, you are very lucky. Then we moved instruments and we improved the rate of sequencing until the first human genome, which cost almost $20 billion to do. But without that first human genome sequencing, we would not be where we are today. Now we can do a whole genome sequencing within 3 days or 4 days, and it costs us $1,000 or $2,000. So we came a very long way in terms of technology. Now we are advancing on the clinical utilization of this technology and the data that it is generated from next-gen sequencing. And we started based on DNA. And we practically advanced the field very, very nicely. But now the major advances are coming from RNA sequencing in addition to the DNA. The RNA sequencing improves our understanding of genomic significance because the technology is way better than the old technology, which is based on PCR or based on arrays, versus the next-gen sequencing. When it quantifies the RNA, it is way more reliable and way more reproducible. But at the same time, next-gen sequencing generates a huge amount of data, and especially the RNA. Now, adding to that the AI and the machine learning, that's really helping us a lot. And practically these combinations of DNA, RNA, AI is, in my opinion, revolutionizing medicine, especially in chronic diseases as well as in cancer. We are trying to really put the precision fact in the precision medicine. We all know that there are no two patients with lung cancer the same, no two patients with breast cancer are the same. And each patient, the tumor is different from the next patient, but more importantly, it is also the patient or the host is also different. So two patients, even if they have the same tumor, but one with different immune systems than the second one. And all that's really necessary for evaluating the patients and for providing better precision medicine. So we are working very closely with our clinical colleagues and in the US, and trying to join clinical data with laboratory data coming from the next-gen sequencing, so we can understand better the problems that patients with cancer deal with. So the next-gen sequencing and data coming from next-gen sequencing helping us understand, for example, resistance to therapy, and understand the side effects of therapy, and trying for us, we are trying and working very hard to come up with biomarkers for predicting which patient is going to have side effects that not acceptable. We are trying to come up with a new algorithm for predicting resistance to therapy and relapse, and so on. So the science is very exciting. We are very excited, and we are working really very hard on advancing medicine, and we focus today on cancer. But I'm sure in a few years, I think genomics can be critical for wellness programs, because our population is living longer, and quality of life is very important. And no question, genomics play a significant role in improving wellness and monitoring actually patients for early detections of cancer, for improving the immune system and living a better life actually, even with aging. We are always competing with ourselves. I think the breadth and width of our offering, I don't think there's any one other company that gives as expanded testing as we do. So, for example, in the same test when you order for solid tumor, let me say, we can really give you data on tumor mutation burden. We can give you data on the mutation, of course. We can give you data on the expression. We can give you data on gene amplification. And we can give you data on HRD in the same test, as well as if it is hematologic disease, we can really give you data whether the patient have clonal B cells or not clonal B cells. And at the same time, we can really give you data on tumor of unknown origin in the same test. So you don't have to order different tests to define what the tumor for the solid tumors. For the hematology, we give you data on flow cytometry, practically profiles. At the same time, in our test, for solid tumors, we give you data on EBV as well as HPV. For the hematology, we give you also data on the EBV and the HPV, and all these are included in the same test which you order. And I am 100% sure there's no other companies that give you such a large number of results in one test you order. Some other company you have to order, for example, the HRD separate from the routine mutation profilings, and they don't really give you information on immunoprofilings and expression levels. The other things, HPV and EBV, they are not offered in any other tests that I am aware of.